Bit about getting it together, updates, and more. So let's get started. First thing, I want you to take a look at this. Here's some images, supposedly supposed to be a comet, but look at this object flying around out here on, it looks like the 8th, and then we got another image of it on the 9th down here, and then we got another image of it over here on the 10th. And here's the thing, guys, a comet always has a fading whitish tail. It doesn't have a debris trail. So this looks like something we should be paying attention to, and love to get your comments on it and see what you guys think. Second thing I wanted to talk about real quick is the WSO special project, our high altitude balloon flight. Thank you for all the contributions coming in so far. We have not yet reached the budget. But we do have good news because we have Canada covered and South Africa covered and Western Australia covered. I'll be announcing the teams for the people that want to, be public with their names and so forth. If you want to be anonymous, you can stay anonymous. But again, we'll be rocking and rolling on this balloon project here pretty quickly. So stay tuned for updates. And then finally, remember, corroboration and collaboration are the keys to understanding this event. So understanding that you're not alone, that there are thousands of people that send me information, that people have been looking at this and seeing this for a long time. So just keep sending your stuff to olson.steven.d@gmail. Don't stop sending it. People, just because you see other people sending it doesn't mean that your stuff isn't going to be interesting or important. Okay? So let's start out with the internet portion of today's show. The first thing I wanted to point out was in BBC News. They actually pointed out rare light pillars spotted in the sky over this ringless mountain. I'd like you to take a look at it because it does look like some of the phenomenon that we might expect to see. And there's the picture of the light pillars as they looked, when they were not through the telescope. So take a look at those. I think those are related to the system coming in. Here's the recent today's actual Mexico webcam, and this one is from the Monterey cam. But you can see again our neat little lens flare, and here's our object, and it's bigger now, so you can see it a lot better than even 2 or 3 days ago. And you'll notice they'll also clip out a couple of the blocks of it, but there it is, man. I mean, I think that's what we're looking at right there. And look at how big it gets in the sky, man. Unbelievable. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that is just crazy. Direct shot right there. And then Leon, of course, today. Leon is always a good place to see it. But today is interesting because we're actually seeing the big orb, little orb phenomenon from this camera. And again, here we see the strange flare. But look at that. And then it disappears up behind the clouds. But it's visible all the way down. Look at that. Unbelievable. That is just, but there I caught a little bit of a 2-orb type set there, and that matches with probably some of the things that we saw. Now here's a great new website, or I'm sorry, YouTube channel. Take a look. I've got the links below, but this guy's actually been looking at some observatory photographs, and I don't know what their origin are, and but I just wanted to show them to you. Look at this first one. And it's just a little short 56-second thing. But look at this, man. This is some incredible footage. If this is truly from an observatory, I mean, this is some pretty revolutionary footage. And then I'll just cut ahead to the second shot that they got here, again, with the large orb, little orb, and again, with some kind of blue filter. But unbelievable. And it is something I'd like you to go take a look at. Quest Ghost does a fire in the sky piece just to show all the bright red in the sky, so take a look at that. And then look at this one that Dill put up, where he actually catches the object in Melbourne. So that was a pretty good one, and it's a very short one as well. It's only 4 seconds, but check it out. Let's see if we can go back to the beginning. Let's see it again one more time here. All the way to the beginning stage. Okay. And here it comes. Right there. See it? And then take a look at Danny O'Reilly's Facebook page. He got some amazing footage of something and was just freaking out. And you can hear the reactions of the folks as they all see it together and witness it together. All right, so let's move on to the photographic portion today. And we start out with, if I can get it up here, interesting lens reflection. from our last couple days of conversations. Kind of a neat, shot there. This one is from Hawaii. We're seeing a very, very clear representation of this plasma cloud. Very strange. Well, that's just our balloon flight. The reason I wanted to put this back up again, though, is because I actually caught a lens flare of something there, too. So when they were looking at the sun reflecting off the balloon or something, it's kind of interesting. This is from Schaumburg yesterday morning, and we saw this shape, this small and big orb, and it just kind of it's a sobering image. It could, again, it's behind clouds. It's hard to tell if it's reflecting or magnifying in some way, but wow, right? Then somebody took a closer look at Savannah skies and actually look what they dug up, man. Looks very familiar to some of the stuff that we've seen in the past from NASA photography. Just interesting little study that he did. And just stop it if you want to look at it, but it's just extremely interesting. And just wild stuff, man. Coming off that Skycam. This is a photograph that somebody took. I still am waiting for the explanation of which direction they took it in and everything like that, but that is a very strange manifestation to see in the sky. This is what I saw over my house the other day, and then somebody sent it to me from the United States somewhere. But again, what is these opposite rainbows from the sun and all that kind of stuff? I just can't explain why there would be a rainbow that would be like that shape. Just don't know why. At first glance, this looks like just a mundane shot of the sun until you zoom in on the object that's behind it, because we're starting to actually now start to see it and understand what it is and where it sits. So, I mean, if you're an astronomy buff and you can tell me what its position in space is, if I give you a couple variables, just give me an email and I'll help you out. This one is starting to get to me a little bit. So this was from yesterday. I just pulled the recent close approaches to the Earth, and I noticed that 82% of the asteroids that have passed the Earth under 1 AU, which is the distance between the Sun and the Earth, has been pretty incredible in terms of the number in the last just a couple days. And you have to start asking yourself, why are we only discovering these things in 2016? And number two is, it seems like we get more 2016s going by before we see them than I've ever remembered in terms of just watching this thing. I mean, so again, it's just another piece of corroborating evidence. It's debris field possibly of this system. Some neat reversed imagery of this dot on the sun that we see all the time. A good ISS image. That orb again. Okay, so let's talk about the orb a little bit. We find that Samsung cameras typically are causing this orb. So I'm going to be careful with the orb, but I still think it's a reflection of what's right in front of the sun. When we see that dot in Mexico, I think that's what it is. That's just me. But what's interesting about this photograph is that's the interesting thing about this photograph to me, is that they caught something behind the sun there that is incredibly compelling. This shape, the person could not, by the way, get out of their wheelchair. So they saw this out their back window, so they took the best photograph they could. Small orb, big orb, sun. By the way, that was in Texarkana. This is just me getting a close photograph of the Leon phenomenon today. This is interesting. From one of the sky cams, we see this orb starting to show up in the cloud mass above the sky cams. The halo, again, every day I get a picture of the halo, and it's there, and I think it's growing. And people have said that they've seen it for a long time. I don't know. I just started seeing it in my hemisphere, and now I'm more convinced than ever that it's not going away. Here's something that one of my subscribers wanted to point out about some fishy stuff going on with the Stereohead H12 satellite. You just stop and take a look. And then we've got your webcams to Mexico again coming through loud and clear. We're getting this reflection like that, and then we're getting this kind of a reflection. And then Sharon Rebick, 311. This is an infrared image. So this is basically shot in infrared, and this is what she captured. Looks strangely like the lens flare that we see in Hawaii, doesn't it? And then here's that Schomburg shot again that just kind of, it kind of sobered me and my friend, because we're both from this area, and when we see this kind of thing, it just, and it corroborates with what we're looking at. Here's just an interesting stereo Core 2 image I got before they completely photoshopped it out. We got this, the chemtrailing going on with the sundogs again. Again, this is shot from somebody's window, but then they caught this direct shot, That's the shape, man. That's the one right there that I think we should be looking for, and then all the other surrounding objects. This is light beams happening here. They started up, this lady said, a couple of weeks ago, and did not stop for almost 2 hours. And they're not from lights. The lights like this. These are beams, shimmering. This is from, I think, Brazil. Again, this is looking at, something that is clearly separated from the sun, done in different gamma and other night effects. Here's a great series right here, guys. Check this out. This one I like a lot, and here I'll tell you why. So let's do this. So you go to the first one, right? And this person actually is catching the reflection of what we're talking about in the water. So now, again, it's like you don't see much here, but when you look at the reflection, you're seeing something. Unbelievable, excellent work. Okay, so that kind of wraps all that up. So what was I talking about? It's time for us to get it together. I'll just finish with these words, okay? There's a lot of people that are starting to call us a gang or some kind of cult or something, which is ridiculous. We barely know each other. And I want you all to know that we're going to see a lot of criticism as we get closer to the truth. But the bottom line is I believe there won't be a disclosure. I think we are the disclosure. So me and all the researchers, Shield Killer, Chris Potter, Veronica DiLaurenti, all these people, Smith DeMista, Prep Aussie, WTF Sky, all of these new researchers are all just honest-hearted people. I know every single one of them. I can tell you that none of us are trying to deceive you, and we're in touch all the time. I mean, we talk to each other behind the scenes and share and collaborate. So you're not